This presentation involves international air travel and selling air. International flights are different from domestic flights in many ways. Coach class is referred to as economy class. Lap babies, infants under 2, usually pay 10% of the adult fare if they do not occupy a seat. On domestic flights, they will fly free if they do not occupy a seat. There may be a child fare for kids 2 to 11. And while a stopover for a domestic flight is over 4 hours, it is increased to 24 hours for an international flight. You need to arrive earlier at the airport for international flights, and security is more rigorous. And remember your passport. Visas are also required for some countries. You will not be allowed to board the flight if you do not have the required documentation. In addition, checked baggage rules are different. You may be allowed a free checked bag, and weight and size limitations may differ from domestic flights. Because of security rules, you cannot check your bags at the curb. For those longer international flights, you'll probably have a little more room, even in coach, and a meal will likely be included. And be aware that safety standards of airlines vary from country to country. International fares may be based on mileage or distance flown, or they may be based on routing, which is much more common. International fares, like domestic fares, depend on several factors, including class of service, season, and day and time of travel. If the fare is very complex, for example, if it involves several stopovers, you may need to contact the airline rate desk to calculate it manually. Taxes and fees may add a considerable amount to the cost of a ticket. Here are a few more details about international fares. Remember that international fares may be based on mileage or routing. Most international discount fares use the routing system and may have similar restrictions as discounted domestic fares. Fares based on mileage involve more detailed, complicated rules that we will not discuss here. As mentioned previously, airlines have rate desks to calculate complex international fares. If multiple airlines are involved, call the airline that operates the first flight. Neutral units of construction, or nukes, are used to calculate international fares, since more than one currency is involved. This helps keep fares in balance. Consolidators are wholesale companies that buy blocks of seats and sell them at a discount, directly to the public or through travel agencies. When buying or selling consolidator tickets, you should evaluate the consolidator carefully. Some consolidators sell only through travel agencies. Some are preferred suppliers for travel agencies, and some have been in business for years and are quite reputable. You will want to choose among those consolidators if purchasing discount tickets. There are advantages and disadvantages of using consolidators, and you should be aware of them. Your ticket may be deeply discounted. On the other hand, make sure you check published promotional fares, because a published fare may actually be less expensive. Rules and restrictions vary depending on the consolidator and the ticket itself. When purchasing an international ticket from a consolidator, make sure it meets your client's needs and the client understands the rules and restrictions associated with the ticket. Consolidator tickets are usually net fares, and you will add your commission. For that reason, fares are typically not shown on the ticket. Air charter companies own or lease planes and then sell seats to the public or to tour operators. Charters tend to fly to vacation or sun destinations, and they tend to be seasonal, perhaps only flying certain days of the week. Tour operators may charter planes to get their tour groups directly to their destination. For example, Club Med. Advantages of using a charter include lower prices and direct or non-stop flights to the destination. Disadvantages of using a charter include limited number of flights from which to choose and no interline agreements with other airlines. So if there is a delay or cancellation, you may be stranded for a considerable length of time. There are some challenges and policies to be aware of when selling air. First, as always, qualifying the client is a must. Make sure you get all of the information you need in order to find a flight that meets your client's needs. Know what is required for the PNR. Details such as accurate spelling of the traveler's legal name is critical. Don't leave anything up to chance and don't assume. Double check dates, times, airports, names, and birth dates. Written confirmations of these details is best. Check and double check the details on the tickets. and be aware of the basic rights and responsibilities of the passenger, including check-in times. Travel counselors should provide information, especially for clients that may not be frequent travelers. We've gone over some of these terms previously, but let's briefly summarize. A PNR stands for Passenger Name Record, and it is the complete record of the reservation, including the record locator. Typically, the reservation will be confirmed, but it is possible to be waitlisted and then fly standby if there's room on the flight. Paper tickets are very rare these days. In fact, some younger travelers may have never seen one. But if by some odd chance you have a printed ticket, you must present it at check-in or you will not be traveling. A boarding pass is required to pass through security. Today, it's common to check in electronically from home and print the boarding pass or have it sent to your smartphone. A ticket is a contract between the airline and the passenger, detailing the rights and responsibilities of both parties. Some things to be aware of include using a credit card to pay for your ticket, to protect yourself in case of airline default, check-in times, denied boarding compensation if you're bumped from an overbooked flight, and the airline's liability for lost or delayed luggage. A good travel counselor will help clients by serving as a guide to reliable internet resources, answering questions about airfares, explaining layouts of airports, interpreting itineraries, explaining code shares and aircraft types, and providing information about the special requirements of international travel. Providing helpful information will add value and build loyalty.